Do you know your archetypes? Many people talk about archetypes in a spiritual way, but also archetypes are a type of personality, and you can use this for your own self-development. Many times I love taking personality tests. I love getting to know myself better. I love being able to really have self-awareness, because self-awareness allows for self-improvement. And I want to talk today. I'm not an expert in archetypes. I really just use them recently to kind of have a little more self-awareness for myself. And this is more of a fun topic, right? How do we get to know ourselves, and how do we take the things about ourselves and use them for good? So I'm just going to share with you my little journey of finding my archetypes. And I encourage you to find things that give you self-awareness, because that's part of self-improvement. One of the reasons that I like archetypes is, like many things in our personality, they are on a continuum. And, there can be a light side or a dark side, a good side or a bad side, a side that's holding you back or a side that can move you forward. And if we can look at our personality like that, we can continue to just grow and improve. So archetypes, they say you have 12 main archetypes, and that there's 4 that everybody shares. So each person has like a child archetype, and mine actually is the orphan child. And I'm not an orphan. I was raised by a single mother. My father died when I was 10 months old. But I had a strong grandmother. I had a grandfather present. My mother remarried when I was 9, and grew her family. And so I never actually felt like an orphan. But as I did this self-development around these archetypes, I realized my personality type is an orphan child. And that can be very good. It's an independent person. The shadow aspects of that, or the side that can hold you back, is you actually feel like you're not loved, or you have been abandoned, right? But you can actually use that to be independent. And I do think I have a lot of independent qualities, but I do struggle with kind of feeling alone. I don't like to be alone. The next one, they say that everyone has, and I don't like this word, but it's called the archetyped prostitute. And we always think sexually when we hear the word prostitute, but that's not what this is about. This is like challenging your survival. How are you using your resources to survive? And we all do that. We all have to find our inner strength, our personal resources to improve and grow. So that can be a positive. In a negative, we're using, or we desire material things, and may sacrifice some of our good resources for those material things. So I think I'm using this in a positive. I'm always working on myself, trying to find self-awareness. What are my internal resources to improve myself and to help others? Another one that they say everybody has is the saboteur, right? Are you sacrificing yourself and using your self-awareness to self-empower and empower others, or are you self-sabotaging? And we all are on that continuum. Remember, I always teach balance, that all of these things are a continuum. You are not either light or dark. And so if you begin to study these things for your self-awareness, remember that this is not black and white. This is a continuum, and we are trying to grow towards the positive side of these personality traits. The last one that they say everyone has is the victim. And this is Are you aware of your surroundings so that you do not become a victim? Or do you constantly become a victim? And that, again, is a continuum. We talk about this a lot in PTSD and trauma. Many people have been re-traumatized or have had complex trauma, things happening over and over again. And maybe we need to do some self-evaluation here. I'm never, ever, ever saying a victim is at fault. Please do not take this as that. But I am saying that we all have this tendency to, especially if we've been victimized, it kind of kills our spirit. And we feel like the world is not good, that we can't trust. And so working through those things so that you can use the positive side of this archetype. Now more into kind of my personal ones. And there are many archetypes and there are many variations of archetypes and multiple people who teach. And so I do not believe that this is a black and white system. I believe that it's nice and it provides self-awareness if we can figure out what our archetypes are, what are our personality traits, so that we can be choosing the positive sides of those. I believe I'm a healer. I truly want to help people. I want to heal people. But there is a dark side of that. You can give too much or you can give with expectations. And, I think sometimes I struggle with that if I'm being completely honest with myself, right? Self-awareness is not, yay, this is who I am and I'm the light side of this, because you'll see some of my other things are not all positive. But being aware of where I'm actually manifesting the dark side so that I can choose more of that light side. I've been called a rebel since I was a child. And I think I used that in a negative sense when I was in my teenage years. I was going to prove that I didn't need people and I was going to rebel against systems, authority systems in place. But I have since learned as an adult that a rebel is actually so important in our culture, that we have people that can go against the grain. My passion is to revolutionize the culture of mental health. That is a rebel, because many of the things that I say and I believe is not standard talk in the psychiatric and psychology world. So I am a rebel. I am also a pioneer. I am stepping into places that have never been before. But I think I can see these things throughout my life, that I was a pioneer, the first to do this, the first in my family. I always, people talk about, you need to find a mentor, or you need to find someone that is where you are so you can go there. I can't find anybody who is where I want to be. And so I am a pioneer. I am comfortable in that space. I'm an advocate. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you have the resources to succeed. I am passionate about being an advocate for people. But I'm also an addict. And I've actually taken a whole plethora of personality tests when I was going to be a missionary. And it came up that I had an addictive personality. I also my biological father's family has lots of addiction in its genetics. And I struggled with an eating disorder in my 20s. And I definitely still struggle with kind of being addicted to the next thing, productivity, excitement, and still struggle with addiction to food. And so this is my personality type. How do you use addiction as a positive? Well, you can if you have self-awareness and you can recognize that, you can help yourself and you can help others. I'm also a rescuer, and a rescuer also can be good and bad. I want to rescue people. I want to see them succeed. I look at somebody and I say, I see their absolute best, and I want to help them manifest that. And you think, oh, that's great. Well, the problem is it's based on other people's choices. And I have this expectation that I will give everything and they will take that and move forward with their life and make their life a better life. And I've often gotten to this situation where I'm being used. I will use my brother as an example. My brother is an addict and addicted to alcohol and then into harder drugs and most recently methamphetamine. And I continued to try to help him for 6 years, letting him live in my home, even knowing he kept relapsing. I wouldn't really set any solid boundaries. I just kept saying, I know you can do this. I know you can do this. I see your potential. But he didn't make those choices. And so I used a lot of energy and emotional pain for myself because I was trying to rescue someone that was not ready to be rescued. And so that can be good and bad. Heroine is another one of mine. Passion for a journey. I talk about, my mental strength journey. That's how I feel confident to be able to share in my mental health journey, because I believe that in sharing, I can help other people. The negative of that is I could be sharing with kind of an expectation behind that, or a false sense of I can help you, right? And the reality is you've got to be ready to help yourself. And then my 12th one is the gambler. I'm a risk taker. Obviously, risk takers can have a negative side, but they can also have a positive side of taking risks allows you to move forward. So that was just a fun little personal journey. What I want you to have gotten out of this is that self-awareness you can get in multiple ways. I often talk about the Mentally Strong method as a great formula to learn cognitive behavioral techniques to do on yourself. But part of being able to do cognitive behavioral things is having insight and awareness into who you are, where you came from, and why you are the way that you are. And so looking at your personality type, looking at it as a continuum, and I'll talk about this in the future as we talk about personality disorders, that it's all a continuum, that we can be choosing to live in the positive of even our negative, quote unquote, negative personality traits. My negative personality trait of being an addict can be used for good. My negative trait of being a gambler can be used for good. So, self-development is a journey. Play with things, learn about yourself so that you can confidently say you are mentally strong. If you got to the end of the video, you obviously enjoyed some of the content. I have a lot of free content out there. I am really trying to empower everyone to find their mental strength. So subscribe, get the actual notifications, and let's embrace this journey of mental strength. See you there.